Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tola. If you're new here, just joining us for the first time, you're welcome. Please consider subscribing and remember to click on that bell notification icon. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video, which is at least once every week. Here on this channel, I talk about my life here in the UK. I also talk about my job centered around healthcare, and I also have a Telegram group here to help other aspiring healthcare workers who are in the UK and those who are planning to come into the UK as healthcare workers. So remember to check the Telegram group link. This will be in the description box. Alright, so today's video, I'm just going to be talking about some of my funny experiences working as a healthcare assistant here. Obviously, I will not be going into details regarding residents or clients as it were, because that would be a breach of contract and it just goes against the policy of the job. But I'm just going to be sharing some of my own personal funny experiences breaking into healthcare when I first started out. All right, so the first thing that stood out to me was kind of a culture shock, which is coming in another video, but it applies to this particular video. Okay, we got into the country late December and I started working around mid-February. So when we got in, for those of you who have been following this channel, we got in and we stayed in Stoke-on-Trent. Now, the accent in Stoke-on-Trent is slightly different. I didn't really get to observe the accent, but compared to what I hear here in Darlington, it's different. It's just like understanding the Yoruba language, as in Yoruba from Oyo State, and then you go to Egba or you go to Jebu and you are hearing something different, or you go to Ekiti or Ondo and you're hearing something different. It's the same Yoruba, it's the same English language, but then there are different dialects. So you can now imagine me coming to Darlington for almost the first few weeks, and I got this job and I went for handover. And if you know how important handover is to this job, having someone explain something to you in a language that you are struggling to understand, I was lost. The Darlington accent was so thick, it was so hard to understand initially. I was just nodding like, yeah, okay. I didn't understand nothing for like the first week. But then the person I was supposed to shadow is an indigene, and she also has a very thick Darlington accent. That was where I learned to. I had to learn like really quickly, and that was how I was able to pick it up. By the second, third week, things were already better. Please, if you're coming to the UK and you think that is the London accent that they are speaking in every nook and cranny of this UK, you will be shocked. They will shock you. You are in for a huge surprise, because it's different everywhere. If you go to Scotland, it's different. You go to Liverpool, the accent is different. So it's not the same Queen's English. They're not all posh speaking. So culture shock. Let's get into the serious stuff now. So the second point is overcoming my first week with personal care. You see, I watched YouTube videos, I listened to people's experience. In fact, when I got into the country, I had someone that was constantly asking questions, and she was kind of helping me process my thoughts or get my mind ready for this job. But you see, there's no experience like personal experience. There's nothing can prepare you for your own experience like your own experience. If it doesn't make sense to you, you understand it is sweet by and by. You understand as you begin to do this job. You see, that first week, I was struggling. Not because I didn't know what I was going to do, but they say experience is the best teacher. Yes. Nothing can better prepare you than for you to experience this thing yourself. This job, well, the first week is usually the hardest, but once you can scale through the first week, if you are still passionate about the job, you'll be fine. Because when you see some level of mess that you have to clean up, or when you see some really difficult situations, you will think twice. But it's really nothing you can handle over over a while. But when once you handle it once or twice, you kind of know how to manipulate your way around things. All right, so the third thing that I struggled with this job is building my confidence while attending to residents on my own. Okay, so I work in a care home. Initially, I was told to shadow someone, and that was kind of where I observed the etiquettes or how best to operate in that particular care home, because she knew the residents very well, and being able to shadow her for the time that I was able to shadow her for, it actually boosted my confidence and it helped me. But then after a while, the shadowing ended, and I was to start to give personal care to some of these residents on my own. It took a while. I will truthfully speaking, it took a while because some of them are kind of used to some of the old carers, or they're used to some of the old staff, and you being new, you tend to feel out of place or intimidated or even shy or scared because you probably might not fully understand this resident or how best to care for them. But I feel like after a while, you find your feet. It can be intimidating, truthfully speaking, it can be intimidating to some extent. But then once you start to find your feet, and once you start to, take your time to understand this resident, you kind of build your confidence over time. So that was what happened to me. I struggled for a while, but then, getting my confidence, I'm starting to mimic the accent. You see, that's another thing. If you're coming with your accent and you're saying, well, at this age, you want me to be changing my accent, but you are gonna have to want to change it at some point, because I also said, why will I have to change my accent? Why will I have to talk like someone just to be heard? But if you don't speak like them, they will struggle to hear you, and once there's a breakdown in communication, you are gonna have a problem. You are gonna have series of problems, and you don't want that. So the best thing is to kind of imitate the way the accent goes, and then when you are among your people, you maintain your status quo. So yeah, you see these points. All right, so there was a particular day I was on my way to work, and as I've said in a number of my videos, I walk to work. So it takes me about roughly 40 minutes from my home to my place of work. So there was this day I was going to work, and just as I was about to get to work, it was less than 10 minutes walk, and there was this accident. This was literally the first time I would see an accident on the road in months, like months that I've been here. Initially, I was looking at it from afar, like, why are people gathering? I didn't really understand what was going on, because accidents don't really happen as common or as often as I'm used to coming from South Africa or Nigeria. So I was still trying to process what was going on. But then when I started to get closer to the scene, I saw people on the floor, and I'm like, my God, what's happening? But then something struck me. You see, as I was going, I saw people taking off their jackets because it was still a bit cold. And some people were taking off their jackets, and they were saying, oh, I made this and this. And they were showing their ID card, and they were healthcare assistants. Some of them were even senior carers, some of them were nurses. And they were saying, oh, I'm this, how can I help? I'm like, please wait, just hold on. Am I supposed to, go there and offer assistance? In my mind, I'm like, please, I did not sign up for blood yet. We're getting there, but I'm not ready. In my mind, I'm like, please, am I supposed to just go and volunteer myself there? What if I'm not ready to? Ask how I buttoned up, men and brethren, I buttoned up my jacket. I faced where I was going, and I continued to walk because, well, I wasn't ready. Even when I got there was really not much blood. They had just been knocked off their vehicle, and they were just on the floor, and they were conscious because they were moving. And then as I was passing by, the ambulance came, so there was really nothing much I could do, Abby. So yes, that kind of scared me, because I felt like, okay, I didn't know this about being in healthcare. So am I supposed to just go and volunteer myself when I see an accident like that? I didn't. It was kind of shocking to me. And then till today, I still felt like, what could I have done differently in that situation? But I don't feel bad, because I felt like the ambulance already came when I was passing. But then, are we supposed to volunteer ourselves? I'm not yet ready for some things, when it comes to care. That's why I don't work in with the NHS, you see. I specifically chose care homes because I want to know what care is before I venture into blood and, you know, all of these things. Yeah, so the final point I'm going to talk about in this video, there might be a part two, because as I build my confidence and obviously as I gain more experiences or as I encounter more funny experiences, I might come back here and give a part two. Working on different floors and interacting with residents without prior knowledge of their history, or having sometimes if I miss handover. So that's what this point is about. So I've said in quite a number of my videos that I like to go for handover, and handover in my place of work is about 15 minutes from the end of the last shift. So when you go for handover, the handover is basically what happened the shift before yours, and it kind of gives you like a brief summary of what happened the shift before yours. Anytime I get to work and I have missed some part of the handover, I'll ask the senior carer in charge, what's this person like, because you can't be giving them the wrong diet, you can't be giving them fluids without thickeners if they are on thickeners. There's just a lot to know about some of these residents. Some of them might have catheters in, and you might have to drain it as the night progresses. So you have to know who is on what, because if you have new residents coming in and you don't know what to do with them, you might get into trouble if you don't do what you're supposed to do. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but sometimes I've had to ask the senior care in charge. But yes, it's all part of the experience, it's all part of the learning curve. I hope today's video has helped you to better understand this job, and just prepare you for some of the scenarios that you might face as you come into the country for this job. If you found any value in today's video, please remember to like this video. It does a lot to help me and my analytics here on YouTube, and other people just get to see my videos. If you're not following us on Telegram already, the link to the Telegram group will be in the description box. Please go over there and follow us. It's a great community where people get to interact and ask questions and get their answers in real time. My handle will be somewhere up here. Please go over there and follow me on Instagram as well. I would love to answer your questions and hear your feedback regarding your process and how things are shaping up for you. All right, until I see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.